I would love
Sheinelle,
to.
don't get weird.
I'm not going to get weird because Dylan knows me, but let me stay in my body. Can I just say something for a second?
Yeah.
So I grew up, and I'm not going to cry. I grew up in Wichita, Kansas, and I was certainly surrounded by excellence in my community and in my family, but clearly I gravitated towards TV and entertainment. And I think for you, why you're so important to me is because if you can see it, you can be it. And I think about women and girls who I would see on TV, and back then, 4 decades ago, you didn't see a lot of people who looked like me. So I saw Rudy Huxtable, I wanted to be Rudy. I saw Denise, and I wanted to go to Hillman, On a Different World. And then I saw Felicia Rashad, and then I saw you. Fierce, vulnerable, funky, beautiful. You could dance, like all the things. You would be shy, and then you would get on that stage, and you would just slay before they even used that word. And so for you, you did that for so many of us. Before the Beyoncés of the world, before all of the folks that we see now.
Preach.
My daughter, who's 10, can scroll now on Instagram and see all of these faces. I couldn't scroll. I just saw you.
Yes.
And I was in my basement with the key on my earring. I had cheerleading pictures on one wall. I had news anchors on one wall from Wichita, and you.
Janet Jackson.
That's so sweet.
Oh, that's beautiful. And now you're going to go on tour.
Well, what you saw there was back in December of 2022 when Sheinelle Jones and a reporter and co-anchor for NBC's The Today Show met her childhood idol, Janet Jackson. And when she said she wanted somebody to come up on stage and dance with her, you might have heard that towards the end of it. I'll leave a link down in the comment section to the original video where I originally covered this. Turns out Janet was not kidding. She actually wanted Sheinelle to join her on stage. Well, this past weekend in Hollywood, Florida, Sheinelle Jones got the chance to not only interview, but join one of her childhood inspirations. Now, anybody that's followed Sheinelle Jones before the Today Show knows, in addition to being an anchor, she also was a dancer and a cheerleader in her youth, particularly high school and college. So we know the woman got skills, and anybody that saw her imitation of Janet Jackson knows that woman can move. So now that I'm gonna quit talking, and here's a portion of that interview.
You should. 4 months ago, to the day, Janet Jackson invited this girl from Wichita, Kansas, to be her backup dancer on tour.
Well, you didn't have to ask me twice. I am hours away from hitting that stage and living my best life.
That's right, I am on center stage at the Hard Rock Live in Hollywood, Florida.
By the way, I should mention you're letting cameras kind of follow you around for an upcoming documentary. You're still developing this, but we know it involves family, this tour.
Family, the tour. There are some surprises. I think it'll be quite fun.
Do you think there would be a time when you guys would perform together or get on a stage?
I hope so.
You can be called many things: a singer, Grammy winner, actor, producer, fashion icon, philanthropist, mom. Is there any title that you hold at the top of the list, or do they all have a place in there?
I think they all have a place, but the one that gives me the biggest gratification is Mama.
That goes without saying.
I said, Mama.
Janet's son, Issa, just turned 6 in January.
What is it about being a mom that just completes you?
Everything. When you're tired, when you need a break, I just love it all. I love it all. When you're in that moment, you see something special happens, it's like, oh my God. And I know I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life. Sorry, I'm getting emotional because I'm thinking of one thing in particular. And I'll never forget it. And it was just so beautiful. And I just thought, that's my baby. That's
Today's show, Halloween.
I thought you did a wonderful
Thank you.
job.
Okay, so Miss Jackson thinks I did a good job, but I had a month to rehearse that. I now have to learn a new routine in just hours. To help me loosen up, Janet took me to look at her tour wardrobe.
These are the costumes for the show.
Wow. Is it heavy?
No, this is light. Valentino did this for me. This is light. This is my opening cat suit. They did this cape. Pia Paolo. This is heavy. It makes me feel very, very, very powerful.
Ooh.
Chris John, he's been a friend of mine for a good while. Chris John Louboutin, and
Yes.
I just called him up and I said, Mama needs some new shoes.
I mean, if Mama needs new shoes, these aren't bad.
Once Janet had calmed my nerves from an 11 to about a 10 and a half, it was time for her to take me to meet my fellow dancers.
This is our path. That you see all this glow tape in there.
Is it
Crew
at least a little
guys.
lighter than this when you're doing
No,
this?
it's darker than this.
my God.
All you see are silhouettes. So I'm gonna sit out.
Okay.
I'm gonna, as you say, release you into the wild. Give it up to God the way I do every night. It's in His hands. You'll be fine.
Thank you, Janet.
I'm a step out.
Okay,
All right. Have fun.
All right.
But right now, fun was feeling more like fear. But I had to put those nerves aside.
5, 6, 7, 8. Last little bit.
And then I found out Janet wanted me to come out during Together Again, the encore song.
Crazy!
This was huge. She trusted me. I had to nail it.
I'll just go upstairs and practice that little thing.
I spent the next 2 hours practicing in my room until it was showtime.
You're gonna do that.
And suddenly my nerves melted away and I just embraced the magic of the moment. And the next thing I knew, I was dancing with Janet Jackson.
Come on, Sheinelle!
All my love's for you, always been true. Edge of me, never thought I can look for you to wrap your wings around me, baby. Wrap them around the feeling. Sometimes he'll whisper, rain, no more pain, no worries. Will you ever see my face?
It was surreal! One of the best days of my life. I'm gonna do the ugly cry when this is all over.
But just like her music, Janet just wanted me to smile to the very end.
Yeah, it was very nice. I must admit, it did warm my heart good to see this moment. And let me say also, there was way more in this interview. There was parts of this interview I cut out, just to avoid, any full copyright strike. And there was also an interview she did right after with her Today Show colleagues about the experience. And there is way more than that that's actually out there. So as I find it, I'm gonna leave the immediate link to that whole segment in the second hour of the Today Show down in the comment section, as well as the link to my own video when I covered the first time they met face to face. And let me just say, it was just wonderful. And for those, I saw a few negative comments under the original video, not mine, but under the Today Show interview talking about, why were they all sitting down while Janet was standing? They should have gave up the seat. Oh, there's no idol except Jesus and this and that. This is what I got to say on both of those. First of all, if Janet Jackson was not complaining about it, why are you? Number one. And number two, that other thing, I love Jesus too. But guess what? Save it for church. All right? She didn't say she bowed down and worshiped the woman. She said she idolized the woman. She respected the woman. Woman doesn't mean she bowed down and worshiped and all that. Y'all need, some people need to just get over it. It's like they can't stand for people to be happy for 1 second. Sometimes I think religious holy rollers are some of the most unhappy people in this world. It's kind of like what my colleague Regina, the Nature Girl 30, says. Some people in that life just are afraid to live. They're so afraid of offending God, they're afraid to live. Let that woman live, will you? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, back to this. This was a very beautiful woman, in my opinion. Anyway, if you want to see more of it, I'll leave a link back to the first time they met when I covered this, as well as the original video of the first meeting and a link to this recent interview. Anyway, that's all I got to say on this. I'm out.